So today we're going to show you how to convert a £50 Facebook Marketplace table into this gorgeous epoxy resin river table in a few easy steps that you can follow at home. Right, so take your table, get rid of the legs, and then you just need to freestyle draw your river, whatever pattern you want, whatever shape you want. So we're going to cut down this with a jigsaw and then break the table apart, and we've got two identical halves, and then we'll put our resin down the middle. So we'll just have a go at cutting it. So you can see that the edge that we've cut on the back of the table is a bit rougher, so we're just going to sand that off. Just neatens it up a little bit and it stops little bits of dust and shavings of wood getting into our resin. So we'll just sand the edges. So we've sealed our stops on at the end, stop the resin flowing out, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to seal around these contours just to make extra sure that our resin doesn't seep out anywhere. Right, so we've got our epoxy now. We've got that's our tub of epoxy, and that's our hardener. So they normally provide them in the right ratio. So in this case, you've got one tub of epoxy to half the volume of hardener. So to keep it simple, we're just going to put it all in. It'll be the right ratio. Give it a stir. Epoxy and hardener into there, and we've got our pigment. We've got our powder pigment here, the Hemway powder pigment. So we're just going to add a tiny little bit of this, and then give it a mix it all together, and just see what it ends up looking like. Yep, so just siliconing around this edge to prevent any resin from oozing past when we come to do our final pour. Sanding we have to do afterwards. So in order to do that, we've got 2 trestles. We're going to lift this table up and put it on the 2 trestles, and then hopefully we can pack it in each corner to try and level this tabletop as much as possible. But before we do that, we're going to take our plywood base off, because we've already filled this table now with resin. We can see how easy that is to remove. So yeah, see if this comes loose. Right. Right, go for it. Yeah, here we go. Oh, should have put more tape on, but I'm getting there. Oh yeah. Nearly. Oh, yeah. Well, I'd say that was moderately successful. Yeah, the sellotape trick worked. Possibly could have doubled up our sellotape because the resin has stuck to plywood in places. You can see where it's just where we've not taped it. We probably should have taped the full board. So if we were doing this again, or if you want to avoid our mistakes, I'd recommend taping the full board, or definitely putting plastic over the full board, because it's difficult to clamp the board to the table and get a full seal. So if you put something on over the full board, you've a far better chance of it not sticking. You can see now, you can see from the back that the resin and the amount of pigment we've put in is allowing light through. You can see it get darker as I put my hand there. So yeah, we're really happy with the amount of pigment we put in, and the secret is do not put too much pigment in. Only a tiny amount. You can always keep adding more. It's like food colouring. Don't add too much. So we've gone over with the 60 belt, and now we've started progressing down the grades with the orbital sander. So we've done an 80 grit with the orbital sander, and then this is 100 grit with the orbital sander. But just to see how well we're actually getting on, we're just going to clean this river up and see if we can see how well the sanding's coming along. So just a bit of water on a cloth. As you can see, as you go over it, clean it up, you can see the sort of pattern emerging in the resin, which is what we want. So it's looking good. Some lacquer, so we mixed our lacquer with our hardener, and then we'll just pour it into our spray gun. So hopefully this should leave us with a nice clear finish on our table. So as you can see, we're really happy with how this table turned out. You can see the epoxy resin just catching the sunlight, and it looks brilliant. So yeah, so if you want to try it at home, all the links to the products we've used are available in the description. And yeah, go for it, start cutting up your dining room table. I mean, you might want to clear it off first, or maybe just crack on halfway through Sunday roast. Just get the jigsaw out and go for it.